and welcome to our Off the Record podcast, episode 3. So excited to have you guys here. I'm Kenise.
I'm Shawnee.
And I'm Amanda.
So last week we talked about dating in our late 30s, and that was quite a conversation because we talked about like assessing ourselves, rebranding ourselves, kind of making ourselves ready for the guy, gal, or whoever you're looking to date, finding that person, that partner that hopefully you may or may not want to spend the rest of your life with. And I think that was a great conversation, right? Like anything that you guys want to bring up from the last podcast that like resonated with you guys?
Yeah, I think we made a good point in dating yourself. That was
yes.
really, really a pivotal part of the. If there was anything that you could take away from our last episode, is dating yourself, learning to be comfortable in your own company. Yeah, I think that's what my takeaway was. Amanda, did you feel differently?
Well, those were Amanda's words. She was like, date yourself. We're
I'm
like,
big
yes.
on that. Because you know what? I think it's very easy for us to say like, hey, I want this and I want that, but we have to make sure that we're ready to receive that. And a part of that is looking at ourselves. And how do you look at yourself and learn about yourself? You take yourself out, learn your interests, indulge in yourself, figure out who you are. And I feel that's when we can start attracting that perfect partner, so to speak.
But I think we have to be like confident in our own right because somebody else wouldn't make us confident. I think we need to find our value, what our value, our worth is, so that we can know if somebody's bringing value to me. Like that's why I feel like if I don't feel myself valuable, then I'm looking for somebody else to give me value,
and validation.
And validation, exactly. No.
And you're the only one that can validate yourself.
100%.
So let's fast forward a little bit, guys. So let's say you've self-validated, you dated yourself, you're in a healed space, and you're ready to venture out.
Yes,
I'm ready to go. Apps. You're on the apps. You're putting yourself
mingling.
There. You're mingling. You're single. You're mingling. You're doing all these fun things, and now you're ready to date. So today's topic is, drum roll, please. Red flags.
Ooh.
What are the red flags, especially when it comes to dating over 30? So
there is that overlap when you're dating people, whether on the app, like you guys said, or versus like meeting somebody in person. So I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get on an app. I'm ready to go, getting ready to mingle, to meet the right jingle, if you know what I'm saying.
So I guess a good place to start would be the communication, right? Because that's all you have in the very beginning is communicating with this person, whether it be on an app, whether it be out on the town and you happen to meet someone that, is attractive, they look cute, you're interested, they're interested. So ladies, what does the red flags look like in communication from the male?
I would say from a male. So I think communication goes both ways, right? It's where it's like you don't communicate a lot, like you hear from this person like very sporadically, maybe throughout a day. But then there's, in the same token, those people who are like back to back to back texts. Like I think like those two, like the over communicating and the under communicating.
So wait, let's back up. You said that the red flag is when he doesn't text you enough. Like, did I understand that right?
So I think, the people who text like the one words, then you don't hear back from them until like 3 hours later. I was like, okay,
I like that.
I do like that too. I do like that too.
I don't have time 3 hours from now. If I respond to you now, I expect to have like a little back and forth, then bye. I feel like leaving people hanging is kind of weird.
No.
I leave them hanging all the time.
I think when you're in a relationship, but even so, like I'm personally, I'm really busy throughout the day. Like I'm a horrible texter. You can ask my friends, you can ask my family. I'm not good at texting, and it's because I have really busy days. So, Amanda, what would be the ideal type of communication for you? Like, I guess if we had to break it down by like throughout the day time.
So for example, let's say you have like the good morning text, like how, I don't know, how did you sleep? Whatever. If you ask that question, right? Like how was your night last night or how did you sleep? If your response, and I tell you, and then you reply back 5 hours later, Like, I'm just like, I don't care anymore. No, don't
But the
ask
person
me
may have
about
been
that.
busy, Amanda.
I
Amanda,
am very busy.
what if he's a working man
What
trying
if
to
he's a
make this
physician in a
money?
hospital saving a life?
Then unless you're a spine surgeon or some sort of surgeon and you're in that operating room for like 12 hours, I'll give you grace then. But if you're not out there with people's lives in your hand, you could respond, because I don't expect you to respond all the time. But let's end that conversation. Like, yeah, have a good rest of your day. That's cool. If if it happens all the
Got it.
time where you're just like cutting off the conversation very randomly, like for me, I don't like that personally.
Right. I get it.
So
I get it.
Okay, I feel you, Amanda. So you're
Yeah.
saying like, okay,
Yeah.
if someone knows that they have a busy day ahead of them and they might not be able to respond to your te last text for the next couple of hours, kind of give you the heads up.
Right.
Hey, really busy day ahead. So sorry in advance. But I'll text you as soon as I can.
yeah, and I don't
That's
expect that all the time though. Like it's just like when you pick up a person's personality where it's just like they start and then they disappear. Because that makes me
It
wonder,
started to disappear.
like, why are you disappearing? I don't expect you to
They
tell
didn't
me where you're
disappear.
going.
They're busy.
I am busy. And if I can respond to you and say, hey, have a good day or whatever the case is, I just feel like you
Yeah.
can't just drop in the middle of a conversation every time, and that's okay.
I hear you, but I a tad bit disagree with you a little bit, just a
Okay.
teensy wincy bit. I do get it, but I feel like in the beginning, as you're getting to know the person, like if that doesn't work for you, then that is a red flag for you. That's not going to be a relationship that's going to work for you. For me,
No.
I can handle, like I can deal with that because I'm like literally for me, I feel like if a guy texts me in the beginning stages, I'm not hungry, right? Or I'm not thirsty. So I want him to wait. So I will go through my meetings, I will do my thing, and then I'll come back to you when I feel like I want to come back to you because I want you to know who's in charge.
But there's nothing wrong with a man pursuing you or a woman pursuing you, whatever works for you.
Right.
Because I think I like communication. I like to be clear
Right.
with whomever I'm talking to. But in the beginning, I just don't. The people who ghost and then come back for some reason, I don't know. That's off-putting to me. Like,
Okay.
bye.
I
okay.
hear you.
Okay. Okay.
I
Okay.
hear you.
I slightly agree with Kenise. Like in the beginning, I'm just
Yeah.
thinking back to when I my dating era. I would be like, why? I would look on my phone. I'd be like, why is this guy sweating me so much? Like, let me breathe. I'd be like, breathe.
Suffocating me.
I probably should say I haven't dated much either. I think I've been in
No, I
really long
have. Like
relationships.
I've done it. So I can rattle it off because I feel like if systematically I've known it like last year, probably maybe it's now been 6 months now. But like the one thing for me, red flag on an app is when they abbreviate their words.
Ugh.
Like
Ugh.
they don't
Like
write full
what?
sentences. And it's a red, like honestly, I came to the point where on the apps, if you don't know how to spell when you're texting me or chatting me in the app, I delete like blocked. I block you because not to say I don't make mistakes in my chats, but like you're meeting the person for the first time, and if you don't know the difference between there and there, I RTHERE or were and was, like okay, I get that, but like if you're just constantly like abbreviating words like HRU rather than saying how
LMK.
are you.
Okay. Okay, I see what you're saying.
This is over
Just
30. Now, this is over, we're saying this is over 30. I'm not in my 20s. I'm
yeah.
definitely in over 30s. So I feel for me, that's important because for me, it's an intelligence thing. Because I've met guys on apps like they're professionals, they're great. I like them, and they spell and they put the comma, like, how are you, comma, Kenise? Question mark. I'm like, yeah, all right. Somebody who knows how to type. Red flag for me. They're gone.
I think grammar is probably one of my red flags. Like again, if you don't know the there,
The
the
there and the
difference
there.
between the theirs, the apostrophes, where that goes. Yeah, I could see that being a red flag.
Yes. Yes. And in person, for me, a red flag meeting somebody is cursing. Like when somebody, every other word is F this, F that, F, like it's just like, or they're just like, I've met guys like first time and like literally, I mean, once in a blue moon, yes, here and there, but every other word, it's a
Mm-mm.
turn off for me. It's a huge red flag for me.
Yeah, I feel like it's a red flag because it's a lack of respect, right? Like I'm a lady. Like
Right.
use proper language when you're speaking in my vicinity. I don't know if that's too high maintenance. I feel like that's the bare
Oh,
minimum I feel like that we're
Yeah.
asking for, and I feel like this will be controversial, but yeah, watch how you speak around me. I'm
know me,
not
so why are you talking like that, right?
I'm not your homeboy. You know
Oh,
what I mean? I'm a
Right.
lady you're on a date with. Talk nicely around me.
Right. Right.
I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah. Red flags. Two of my biggest red flags in the beginning.
Or her pet peeves.
Yes, I don't know. Is it red flags or pet peeves? Like at this point, it's not even red flags, it's more pet peeves now.
Well, let's say, okay, so would you cut a guy off, I guess, if he
Yeah.
exhibited those? Okay, so then they are
Yeah.
red flags for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I told you the grammar, like they're gone. I don't care how attractive you are. I don't care if you make $6 zillion a year, you own your own company. No, no,
Learn to speak
no,
first.
no.
Okay, so let's talk about the timeline of when a guy should officially ask you out on that first date. What does that look like?
Hmm.
Mm.
Well, on the app for me, it'll be like I said, if like we were talking about before the show, like if we're talking on the app for a couple of days, like I would give it a week. Like I'm texting back and forth, we're chatting on the app, getting to know one another on an app. I'm not always on the app. So I like between 3 to 5 days. That's when they would ask me for my number. I do have a Google Voice number that I use. So I don't give them my own personal
Smart.
number. So the Google Voice number goes to them, and then I like, right after, typically 9 out of 10 times when you give them the number, they like text right away. And they're like, hey, this is, whatever from blah. So, and then from there, 3 to 5 days, like I want to be able, at least 3 days, I want to be able to hear your voice. I want to be able to see you on FaceTime because I want to know now I'm going to invest almost 10 days with you. Is it worthwhile for me?
So, Kenise, you want a guy. I just want to make sure I'm hearing this right. So it's a red flag for you if a
Yes,
guy
red
does
flag.
not hop on a phone call or a FaceTime with you within the first 24 to 48 hours.
After coming off the app, which we were talking to at least 5 days max. After 5 days, we're pen pals. I don't have time for that. Because what do you want? Like, I think this is over 30, right? We're talking about over 30. I'm not here, everyone hopefully is there with an agenda that they want a serious relationship. So I'm not here to talk to you for 5, 6, 10 days on an app. Like, if you find me attractive, you find like we're back and forth and we sound intelligent, like let's get the ball rolling. Let's see what I look like. Don't you want to hear what my voice sounds like?
But coming back to the first point or the first red flag, in the app, you're not talking as regularly. So, like when I say like I expect you to text back, that's on text when we're finally like talking like normal. But you're not having really how much of a conversation are you having on the app consistently to expect after 24 to 48 hours when you're back on the phone now to get a call or a FaceTime?
Well,
I,
I think
Yeah,
I
we
don't have
love a
that number
man
in
that
mind.
knows what he wants, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I like that. I think it shows a strong personality. I think a guy who has, he's serious, he's not like he knows what he wants. I think for me, like it's a red flag when guys don't know what they want. And I think as women, probably we need to just figure out, when we fit into that mold. When a guy knows what he wants, he will go after what he wants 100%. So if he's talking to various girls, he's also going to teeter on the fact if the girl is attractive and she sounds like she's smart, there's other guys that she's talking to. You want to pick up on that. Like there's other competitors out there that's going to pick up on this merchandise.
But Kenise, do guys really think like that though?
Oh, that's a whole different topic. That's
That's
for
I
episode
feel like
five.
That's
I
a whole
feel like
different
that's a
series.
hopeful wishing, right? That's what we would hope guys are thinking, but a lot of them don't think like that.
All right, guys, we need you to write in and we need to tell us if you really think like that or if you don't, because Shani just totally blew you guys up and said you guys
I
don't think like that.
don't. I really think that because of what we're describing, right, is ideally an alpha male coming for you, right, with that mentality. But I feel like I mean, no offense, again, this could be controversial. Really the number of alpha males in today's society is just dwindling. It's like almost extinct. It needs to be on watch.
100%. But not every girl likes an alpha male. I get that. But guys, I need you guys to write in because Shawnee is definitely becoming very controversial on this episode here.
I have not come across an alpha male in a very long time. I feel like the men in
Wow.
this generation, again, controversial, they're
This
so
generation.
lazy. They're so lazy.
Yeah.
Johnny's off, like, no filter today. She's telling you guys
I'm going
it
off
is.
script, by the way. We have segued
Yeah.
off the red
So
flag.
let's go back to the script. So those are my red flags there, but I think those are great topics that I think you guys need to write in and talk to us about because we want to hear what you guys have to say, especially the guys out there. If there's an alpha male, we want to talk to you. We certainly want to talk to you because Johnny said there's only one alpha male right now in this world. That's
You're like the last, what was like that, the bald eagle was going extinct. That like, we want to meet you and we want to save you and we want to repopulate you.
We will have you on the show. We will have you on the show.
Okay, so ladies, we're on the first date now. He's asked you out. The ideal timeline, I think we all agreed, was within the week, right? Asking you out on the first date.
After coming off the app,
After
what if
coming
you
off the
meet
app,
them
yes.
in person? Like, what's the ideal time? Is it still a week too? Like about
I
a week?
would say I would give it 5 to 7 days.
Yeah, I agree.
5 to 7 days until the first date. But I think the red flag, again, I guess we're still on the topic of communication, is when a guy is unable to plan what that first date looks like. I don't know. What do you want to do? Oof.
Oh God.
Where do you want to go?
Are you not paying attention to the
insert red flag emoji
conversation?
right here.
I like someone who plans.
But how many girls do you guys know? And we're talking about the girls right now, right? So how many girls do you guys know in your life that plan these dates? Because I know I have friends of mine who do it. You know, they're the ones, oh, like I'll tell them where to go, I'll tell them what time to pick me up. You know, they set everything in motion and he just sits back. So do you guys have people like that? And do they not see it as a red flag?
We're talking about a first date or just like dates in
First
general?
date, first date.
I do have someone like that. I have a friend like that in my life. We actually had a debate about coffee dates the other day and if it was considered lazy as a first date. And I said, absolutely yes. And she was very adamant that it's not lazy because she's coming from the point of, I don't know if I like you. I don't know if I want to invest more time in you. So I'm good
Yeah.
with like a coffee date. Me,
Yeah.
on the other hand, I'm like, no, on a first date, if you're asking me to meet for coffee, that shows a very low effort interest in me. And I probably would decline your invite to go. And I don't drink
Right.
coffee or tea, so
Mhm.
you guess you weren't listening or you didn't care to find out that detail before planning that date if you were alpha male enough to plan the date at that point.
Yes.
But yeah, I feel like from my point of view, a coffee date is very lazy. I feel like, I know who I am and I know how much I'm worth, and I'm worth more than, a little $5, $6 coffee, but that's just me. And then I have my friend who thinks like I'm not wasting time and having to sit across from someone at a dinner that I really, in the first 10 minutes, no, I don't need to, I know I don't want to be there. So
Yeah, I disagree slightly only because I've had alpha males that ask me out. They plan everything, but I tell them I want coffee. And I set it to 30 minutes. 30 minutes, I'm with you. And it's more of like a sale because I agree with your friend. I don't want to meet you for the first time at dinner and I have to spend like 2 hours with you through a grueling meal and I don't like it. And I'll tell you why. So I did meet with one guy one time. He did everything right, everything perfectly. We went to Starbucks. He wanted to take me out to dinner. He even sent me to the restaurant. He was like, this is when, can we please do dinner? Can we please do dinner? Can we do lunch? Can we do lunch? I'm like, no, coffee. Even though I'm not like a huge coffee person like that. So we went to Starbucks and in the first 5 minutes of meeting him, he just totally was not the person. He looked the same, but he was just not the person I wanted to be with. He like talked about himself the entire talked and then so I was like, well, you know, I did have somewhere to go. And I did tell him before, like, I only have like about 45 minutes. I have, you know, have another appointment, whatever. So he knew I had to go. So I don't have to fake the call, you know, a friend call maybe, because I usually do have somebody calling or texting, but you know, that's old. So, and now I tell him in advance, like I do have somewhere else to go. I was so happy I left. And when I left, he texted me like right after I left. He was like, I really, 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 like it was like 100 reallys like you. I was like,
Oh
right,
God.
like this is like
Ew.
what is wrong. You see, so if I would have gone out, like I understand my worth and my value, but to the point where it's like I think a little bit more opposite, Shawnee, where I feel like you're not worth my time yet. You haven't earned me to dinner yet, and that I so saved myself some time with him. So that's how that's just my over 30. We're talking about, maybe I should talk about over 40, because maybe over 30, because you guys are still super
No.
young.
I think you're
This is
onto
over
something
40.
because, well, my reference is during a pandemic, so that's partially why too. But I think it's how your conversation's going, right? And what you feel safe with. Because that's another aspect. Um, because I remember like a first date, just, you know, and it was during COVID. I went to the boardwalk. I love the beach. And like, oh, how about we go and walk on the boardwalk? And that turned into walking on the boardwalk to go in and get tacos. And yes, I am that girl who's gonna pick up that taco and eat it, not knife and fork.
Ooh, you're so brave.
Yeah, that is very brave, Amanda. I still can't do that.
I can't do that either. Wings, tacos,
No,
no.
wait, nothing. It's a
No
salad.
mozzarella
And I guess
sticks.
I never thought of it until like later on. I like, and like with YouTube and TikTok, like teaching you different things. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that was a thing. But I think it's where you are in your conversation and what you feel comfortable with. Now, if I'm talking to you, and like I'm not maybe 100% sure, I can see a coffee date being like, you know, let's see how this works.
Nice.
But you know, because to spend 2 hours with someone, and also, what if you feel weird? You're sitting there, this person's staring at you. Like, okay.
So that has happened to me in the past.
What do you
Okay.
do?
Ugh.
Go to the bathroom,
Oh,
please call me and
At
tell me
that
if there's
point,
an emergency.
I would
okay,
leave. I literally would leave the rest. I would say I'm going to the bathroom and I will beeline to the door. I would be gone.
no, ladies, don't do that. That's really mean. Don't do what Kenise
I've
just
never
told
done it, but I've
you.
seen it in movies. But
I've seen it in the too.
No, but I feel like, you know, back in the day, I went on dates. First of all, Amanda made a great point. You know, make sure that you feel safe before you agree to meet someone in person. I think your gut and your instincts will tell you, you know, if this person's safe enough to meet up with in real life. So everyone that I've ever went out on a like a dinner date with, I did feel safe, you know, enough to go meet with them in person. Always on the first date, I'm driving myself or taking Uber, whatever the case is, because, you know, safety first. But I have been in situations where I went on the first date and I'm like, oh, this isn't it. This is
Please
not
end.
this isn't it. But for me, I just like at that point, I'm already here. The makeup is on my face. My makeup is expensive.
You're paying for dinner, buddy. Let's go.
I make it a fun experience for myself. Like, if anything, I'll even like have them be turned off by me by like crazy. Because at that point I know I'm not interested. So it's just like, okay, we'll just have fun. Whatever. Ask the kooky questions that you wouldn't ask on a first date.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, make the best of it. I don't think it has to be so treacherous. You know, if you're not if you know your first date isn't gonna turn into a second date.
You're really nice, Shawnee. You're very nice. You're a
Yeah.
very nice person, human being.
Because I don't think but also I think, you know, if you go on that first date and you don't feel it, you know, you just know for sure for whatever reason that you're not gonna go on a second date with this person,
Mhm.
you need to be very open to with them about that, right? Don't ghost them. Ghosting people is not nice.
Mm-mm.
You know,
Be
be
mature.
honest. Um, and yeah, I just leave it like that. But yeah.
So now we went from like app in person. You guys are what's the timeline red flags for meeting up on your first date? So what are first date red flags? Like itself, you're on your first date now.
He doesn't open the door?
Ooh, which the car door or the door to the restaurant?
No, because I just said that I take myself on first dates. Like I don't have anyone pick me up. So like, but like at least like if he's there before I am, which he should be there before I am, and I text you, hey, I'm here, you better find yourself to the front of that restaurant
Uh-huh.
on the phone, like on a phone call or texting me and like, hey, I'm here. Open that door for me and pull out my chair.
Do they still pull out chairs? I haven't had a chair pulled
I
out
have gotten
in
my
a
chairs
long time.
pulled out. Yes, it's very nice. It's very
Yeah.
chivalrous. Chivalrous? Chivalrous.
Chivalry,
You guys get what
chivalry.
we mean.
So that's a red flag. So if they don't open the door, I get that. But what if they don't pull out the chair? Is that a red flag for you?
It's like a beige flag, I guess.
Okay.
Um, hmm. I mean, I do get that. I think it's nice when the man acts like a man. Please don't come for me for saying that because people's like, oh, what does it mean to act like a man? But
Ooh.
there is
You know what it means, like it wouldn't we say act like a man.
We're
like
gonna
I
have
like that.
so
So
much hate mail. So much hate mail is coming our way on the third
I
episode.
This is our
know.
most controversial take yet.
But there is something very nice about being treated like a lady. And I think sometimes because of, oh God, I don't, here it's gonna happen again. Like because of things like Me Too and all that stuff, which I understand the purpose of, um, it doesn't mean we cannot be feminist and believing in those things and still not want a man to act like a man. Pull out the chair, open the car door. Little things like that I think go a long way because it shows mannerism. It shows, I don't know, attention. Subtle, it's sexy, I think, in my opinion. So yeah.
I see the hate comments already
I
happening.
know, I
All
know.
like
We
these
mean
low
well.
I see the
caliber
comments being like,
men.
we can't satisfy you women. You guys want to be independent. Now you want us to open the door, so
With our luck, this is gonna land up on the low calibers men's their timeline, their feed, and they're
oh
gonna be
gosh.
like, "Oh my God, what do they want?"
No, we want to help. We would definitely want to help the ladies that are watching us, for sure, and anybody else who wants to take our advice.
Yeah, our unsolicited advice,
Yes,
the
please.
advice no one asked for.
What about like if he doesn't pay? Is that a red flag?
Yes, yes,
I agree.
So
yes,
why is it this
Amanda.
generation? No, I agree. I agree. I think he should pay. But I don't understand why that is so controversial today. Why is it like a lot of men are saying, no, it should be 50-50. And like, so I don't know if you guys came across like these YouTube channels that have like young men and they talk about those types of topics and why should they have to pay the full bill.
If you're broke, just say so. Like if you don't have money, just
This
say
is going
so.
to be our last date if you're broke. Sorry. Not going another one with you.
If you don't have money, just say that. I'll cover the entire bill. No need to go 50-50, but you will never see my face again.
But is that a red flag for you, Amanda, though? If they don't pay?
At this age, yes.
Yeah.
If I'm in my late 30s, if I went on a first date, granted, you have to also, and I think this is a perfect opportunity, come back to one of the first points we made, plan the date. Take the time to
Yeah.
actually do it because you know your budget. Like, yes, you can be talking to me. You're like, oh, she loves Thai food. Okay, I know a nice Thai spot. I'm not the kind of girl that you need to take to like a $500 a plate type of restaurant. She is
Me
that
too.
girl. So I am the one.
Okay. If anybody out there wants to take Shawnee and I to a $500 a plate restaurant,
They come
please,
are fantastic ladies.
You will have
alpha
the
male.
best time at dinner with us. It will not be a boring night.
But like that's your opportunity to show yourself in a very good light too. Like a really good spot. That's a
Yeah,
good vibe.
right.
And you at that point you can be the man to pay the bill. I don't mean like to be the man, but you guys know what I mean. The hate's coming anyway, so it's okay. But yeah, pay the bill. I'm in my late 30s. Come on. I'm not splitting a coffee with you. I'm not paying $5 for my stupid coffee.
Oh
Pay
my
for the damn
God.
coffee.
Imagine
Like,
on your
what?
little coffee date that you guys don't mind. He's like, do you want to split?
No, I went on a coffee date. That's why I start out with coffee. And he
Yeah,
was
but
like, and we
okay.
stood there. I made my order and he just stood there. Usually you see them out of the corner of your eye. Like if you're on the line, they let you go first. This is the one guy, alpha male, I know he wasn't broke. I could tell he wasn't broke, but like he waited and I was like, oh, okay. So I pulled up my Apple Pay and I paid.
Oh
That
Are
was
you
my
it.
kidding?
It was like a
God.
15-minute conversation. Like I was so done. I was so livid.
That was a key part of the story that you didn't
No, this was a
mention.
different guy. So this was a different guy. This is not
Oh,
the same guy
okay.
who said he really, 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 really liked
Oof.
me. Mm,
Coffee's like
yeah,
$5 max.
I know. But like Amanda said, some people are just not thinking like that anymore.
But I mean, like, okay, let's say it
Yeah.
is finances, right? You if you are a male and you are going through financial,
Yep.
hardships, which is totally understandable,
Yeah.
right? It happens. It happens to all of us at some point. You're in no position to be asking someone out on a date. Like,
Right.
don't do
Right.
that. Don't
Focus
Right.
on yourself.
don't go to a date. Don't ask a woman on a date and you are, on a budget. I wouldn't ask as a man, I wouldn't ask a female out on a date that I know I can't afford. I wouldn't ask her for a
Exactly.
nice
Mm-hmm.
restaurant and then banking on, oh, we're gonna split the bill or
No.
whatever the case is. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not nice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Red
That's
flag.
broke boy behavior. Don't do that.
Yeah.
And I think a grown woman who knows what she wants, like that's off-putting. You're better off figuring out yourself in your own situation. Because if you want to just hook up, you'll attract the girls who just want to hook up, and that's good. You guys are in the same thing. But like if you want to date women who are looking for real relationships, you're not ready for that yet. You need to work on yourself. Like that's
Yes, if you want to hook up and you want to be like, going to like, these not as sophisticated, expansive dates, which is totally fine, then go to the girls that want the same thing. Stop
Mhm.
wasting our time. Take yourselves out the pool.
Right. Right. I think I'm gonna go back on an app because this conversation is why people just like, it's been so long. It's maybe the guys have changed. Maybe I'll go back on an app and
Social
tell you guys.
experiment.
Well, we
Yeah.
need
So
an update on a future episode on how that's going.
yeah.
Wait, so controversial take, maybe not so controversial, but what happens if a girl asks the
Mm,
guy out on the date? Is she
mm.
expected to pay
This is first date you're talking about?
first date?
First of all, I'm not asking anybody for it, so I can't answer your question.
Let's say you did ask somebody out. Let's say we found ourselves in that situation, which,
What are we
hey,
doing?
shoot your shot.
What are we doing? Like, am I asking you out to dinner?
Yeah, like you decided to take charge of your love life. You're like, I'm not waiting for these guys. I'm interested in this one. I'm gonna ask him out on a date. We're gonna go to get sushi somewhere. I don't know. He accepts the invitation. I'm sorry.
I'm not
I
He
paying
guess
for
if
you,
I
accepts
sir.
the
invite him
invitation.
out, like I would pay if I invited him
No.
out.
I'm sorry, that was harsh.
So Amanda, okay, you're the person asking the person out on a first date, and
Okay.
you would expect the guy to pay?
I mean, at least pay for yours. Like, go 50-50 if that's the case. I don't know. This is weird. Like,
That's where I disagree. I feel like if the woman is asking the guy out on a date, a
Yeah.
first date, then
Hmm.
she is volunteering
Right.
herself to
To pay.
cover the
but you're
bill.
setting a precedence at that, like, I don't know. Well, you know what? I think it's because I'm thinking as myself and that's why. But maybe if I am a kind of woman who's thinking like, I'm taking control of my life and I'm going to ask you out, maybe that woman would feel like she's going to pay for that date or whatever. But to me, that's setting a very strange precedence in the relationship to come because I don't know what can come out of that.
Well, Kenise mentioned she has friends that do this, right? You have friends that
Hmm.
ask men out and they plan it, maybe that's their preference.
But aren't you nervous about it becoming a thing where you become the person to always do that? Like,
Hmm.
Maybe
I
they like it that way. Maybe they want to be the female alpha in the relationship and they want to be the one to call the shots.
Hmm.
Which is there's so many reasons why females choose to live like that,
Hmm.
previous traumas with other relationships where the guy
Hmm.
might have been too controlling,
Hmm.
maybe, financially like throwing it in their faces. I can see why females who do that now, like
mm,
why they got to
Hmm.
that place of where they're at right now.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I feel like if you're asking, I feel like okay, when it comes to first dates, if you're the person that's asking the person out, then you
Hmm.
you are volunteering yourself to cover the expenses.
Hmm. Hmm.
We
But
need a
we
social
want you guys to
experiment.
write it. I think women who've done that on the norm, because I've never done that, we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
You have asked guys out. Do you guys pay for them? Like tell us like what you guys do. Like please tell us kind of, was it a positive experience? Maybe you guys will help change my mind about it.
Because clearly we don't know really. Like, 'cause for me, I
Drop
still
some
I can't wrap my head around it. Like,
Yeah,
ah.
me neither. Me neither. But
I don't
so
think
we've
there's.
gone through, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say we've gone through like the red flags, but I think we should continue this in our next
No,
episode.
no. I feel like
Because we're
there's
not even
something.
in a relationship yet.
I know.
We're still like on date 1.
Okay, so let's continue. Red flags. Okay, so we're on the date. We established that he should be at least opening the door for you.
Mhm.
Right. Pulling out a chair,
Be
possibly.
a gentleman.
Possibly. If he doesn't, it's not a deal breaker. I'm not gonna be
Ooh,
like,
ooh. So what happens if you go to the restroom? Is he supposed to stand up? Does he stand up when you go to say, excuse me, I'll be right back? And does he get up? Does he do that?
what happens when you guys have a booth?
I haven't seen that when a guy would get up from the table if I get up from the table. Never experienced it in
Oh
my
my God, you're right. I don't think I've experienced that too, but it's so polite.
Yes, it is. I've
Oh
never
my
experienced
God. Bald eagle, where are you?
that. They don't exist. They don't exist. Well, they do exist, but they're probably happily married. And those women, we want to tell you that we're very jealous.
Yeah, send us the prayer that you prayed to get that bald eagle.
They pay the bill. I would say how a guy eats, and I know you guys are going to probably look at me in a very weird way. Okay, so I'm a little weird with how people eat. So some people like hold their forks like this, like they have the entire hand. So I this is why I'm single. I'll tell you, and I'll take that 100%, like 100%, because the way the guy eats, he chews with his mouth open, mouth closed. All of those are red flags for me. And you might say it's pet peeves, but it's a red flag. I cannot sit with you if you don't know how to properly eat. I'm sorry.
Okay, so pet peeve for me, not just with like, I guess anyone within my vicinity that's eating a meal, I don't want to hear you chew your food.
Mhm.
Like it's like nails on a chalkboard for me. I don't want to hear it. I can't hear you smacking your food. It's gonna drive me up a wall. But Kenny's, what do you mean how he holds his knife?
Okay, so like when you hold your fork, right? So you hold it like this, right? You're cutting, but there's people that hold it like this. So they eat and they're like this, like this.
On a
So
first date?
With the knife?
no, with the fork. So they're holding it with their left hand. So
Like how kids do.
right, like how kids like little
Yeah.
boy like
Oh,
scooping it,
okay.
scooping it. I'm like
Scooping
he's
it.
scooping it.
I don't know if that's a red flag for me.
Oh, that is a red flag because you know what it is, and I know this is kind of like really, I don't know, it's bad, but it's like the people that you're going to be around in my life, like they're no joke. They will make fun of everything. And I don't know if you guys have family like that or friends like that. If I bring them around, they will take me somewhere and they would beat me senseless. And they'd be like, did you see how he's scooping his food?
He's
What
scooping
the
his
hell
food.
is wrong with you? And I feel like I can't handle it. Like, I just feel it's just too much. Like, I need you to eat properly because we're going to eat all the time. Like, you go out to dinners with your friends, with family, with like whatever business, whatever you were doing. Like, so it's just not going to be me and you, but it's other people that are going to be watching as well. And you represent me. You represent me. I represent you, right? A guy wants a girl who represents him, right? Looks pretty. Her makeup is, like he's not gonna want a girl like if that to take to his like partners at his law firm, looking all like disheveled,
Eating like this, apparently.
scooping. I couldn't take it. I dated somebody for 5 years. Everything was perfect about him, but he ate like that, and I was just like, why can't you just like? I never told him because he was definitely an alpha male. I could never tell him. But he scooped his food, and I was just like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do the scooping. Please don't eat in front of my parents with the scooping, please.
People are gonna call us so picky on
You're
this
gonna call me. Oh,
episode.
it's so bad. I know the hate mail is coming. Just write Amanda.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll take the heat for this episode.
I think a guy on a first date red flag is when he says a laundry list of things that he about what he doesn't like about a female.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I don't like when girls don't have their nails done, and I don't like a girl when, she doesn't do her makeup or know how to dress. And it's just like, bro.
Now, we're not the ladies for you then. Like, if that's how you
No.
feel.
Don't come here with that energy.
No.
Or my favorite. You guys ready for this one? Red flag. This is if there's any red flag that you need to take away from this episode, it's this one right here. You go on a first date and you guys are, talking about past relationships or where, because sometimes the conversation can, go down that path. And he says, yeah, my ex-girlfriend, she's so crazy. She's
Yes.
so crazy.
If all the exes are crazy, something is wrong with them.
What did you do to make her crazy?
I feel you on that.
I need you to politely, at that point, don't even worry about who's paying you pay the bill and you get yourself out of there. That guy that's not it. Any guy that calls his ex-girlfriend or multiple ex-girlfriends crazy, there's something wrong with him.
You're the next one he's going to talk about.
Yeah, because he's going to drive you crazy. He's going to make you do crazy. He's going to take you out of your character so fast. Provoke the crazy out of you.
Provoke the crazy.
I think we've all been there. I think we've all had an experience with
Yes.
a man that just provokes the crazy out of you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And we're not crazy. We're
No, I think we have a little bit of crazy inside of us. Knowing both of you guys, yeah, we all have
a little crazy. Yes, I will own my little crazy.
yeah,
But
I
we
will
have a
own
little
it.
crazy.
But
Yeah.
if you keep going like this and like keep nudging me, of course you're gonna get the crazy.
Poking the bear for
Poking
Amanda
the
to get
bear.
the big bear.
I think it's so nice when a guy can talk about his past relationships with such respect, right? I
Agreed.
think there's a
Right.
way that you can communicate, like, why things didn't work out, on a very high level, especially if it's a first date. I don't need to know the
Right.
nitty-gritty details at that point,
Right.
but I think you're so much more attractive when you are
Yes.
able to communicate speaking about them in a very respectful manner.
I agree.
Well,
It's
how
a great
about if they go on and on about them? Because I've had that, and I necessarily haven't heard, like, maybe once or twice, maybe like they're crazy, but that came later. But they go on and on about their relationship, like, oh well, if we have children together, and she's so like, she doesn't understand, and she's always calling, and she's always like, she wants so much. Like, this is her first date, but just very negative about the past relationship.
Honey, you need therapy.
If he spends
Yeah.
more than, I would say, like 10 minutes, more than 10
Yeah.
minutes talking about his past relationship, even that is too much.
Yeah, I think that's a lot.
I think
time.
it's either one, he's still caught up with his ex, he still has some
Yeah.
kind of feelings about that chapter's not fully closed out, at least
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
his end. I think that's a red flag, and you don't need to get caught up in that.
Yeah.
Probably still needs to heal from whatever happened, because clearly it's still impacting you for you to spend your first date talking about your past relationship. So I think you need to again come back to yourself. Am I ready to date? Because clearly, that's not I don't think that's a good look. Same thing as a woman. Like, I don't think you should divulge like, oh my God, he did this and that. That's not a good look either. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah, like instead of asking people out for dates, maybe you should invest in a therapist and go talk about your feelings there.
yeah. Let us know. If you need a therapist, let us know. We can provide free therapy for you guys.
Yes, absolutely. I will, if you are paying and paying for my meal, I will gladly sit across from you and tell you what I think is wrong.
Well, OTRs, we are about to go close out episode 3. I think we should continue.
yes.
So episode 4, because we're not even in a relationship. We haven't even finished the first date. We don't even know if we're on a second and third date. But yeah, I think my final thoughts on this is just like, trust your gut. At different ages, whether you're over 20, you're in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, whatever the case may be, trust your gut, trust your experience, and make sure that you know what you want. And if the person isn't delivering what you want, then just cut it out. That's my takeaway.
Yeah. I think my takeaway is, pay attention to these red flags that we've provided you with because we are talking from experience. We're trying to
Mhm.
help us help you. These and we had a lot of jokes throughout this episode, and we were definitely, bantering a lot, but really and truly, like, pay attention to someone before you get too invested with your time. Your time is valuable. We just came off of last episode of dating yourself and healing, and you don't want to make the mistake of investing in the wrong person because you
Mhm.
decided to put on your rose-colored glasses and ignore the red flags. So, yeah, I would say listen to your off the record crew.
And I guess my sentiment is the same. I feel like you have to learn to trust yourself, trust your judgment. If you're having those inklings that something's not right, it's early enough for you to say, okay, you know what, I'll just pass and just keep it pushing. And just be safe. I feel, just as women, dating, we all want to get married and do all that stuff if that's your choice. But, be safe when you're doing it because I feel like there's too many times like people go on dates and stuff happens. And don't let people pick you up on your first date. You don't know them. That's my
Mhm.
little tidbit.
Yeah. All right, guys, we'll see you next week on episode 4.
All right, see ya.
Bye.